Appreciate you. Mr. Ray, welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator.
For joining us. I'm sorry, you got 5 votes here in a row, so we're sort of in and out. I apologize for that. And I understand you have some family members here. Maybe,
I do.
Maybe
yes.
a mother?
Yes, my mother and my uncle are both here.
It's great to see you all. Thank you and welcome. Welcome to our hearing, your hearing as well. Let me just start off by saying, Mr. Ray, I've learned since we spoke that you may have asserted some type of privilege as part of a refusal to answer senators' questions or deferred to OMB General Counsel more frequently than any past OIRA nominee who has appeared before the committee. That's pretty stunning. And in fact, I'm told that you've asserted privilege or deferred to counsel some 19 times in your pre-hearing questionnaire and questionnaire responses. And while I'd be the first to acknowledge that it may well be appropriate to withhold or redact particular content in some circumstances, you apparently have maybe misapplied overly broad privilege to avoid providing Congress with critical information and documents related to your work at OIRA as Associate Administrator and Acting Administrator. Ultimately, should the full Senate vote to confirm you, your general approach of non-responsiveness to the committee vetting process, we believe sets a concerning precedent both for future nominees and subsequent oversight efforts to hold the executive branch accountable. And this is especially true since you've presided over, or I believe presided over, been involved in dozens of controversial rules in the past year and a half in which you worked at OIRA. I have 2 questions. And I'm a senior Democrat on the Environment and Public Works Committee, and we focus on service transportation, focus a lot of infrastructure issues, and we focus a lot on clean air, clean water, and climate issues and so forth. In EPA's proposal, I'm going to talk about the mercury and air toxic rule, but in EPA's proposal to remove the legal underpinning of rules to reduce emissions of mercury and other air toxics from power plants, OIRA allowed EPA to use the agency's old projected costs of compliance that were 3 times higher than what the industry actually spent to comply with the rules and ignore the full benefits of the rule. I believe I'm told that you declined to provide a specific description of your role in the development of the proposed rule, which is opposed by all public health and environmental organizations, opposed by the Chamber of Commerce, opposed by all electric utilities, opposed by the Evangelical Environmental Network. And I don't ask a lot of yes or no questions, but I want to get to just a straight answer here. But yes or no, will you provide the committee with a complete description of your involvement in the development of this proposed rule, including copies of your calendar and other requested documents?
Senator, I can tell you now, I was not involved in it because I was not acting administrator at the time.
And a second yes or no question, and that would be, do you commit to ensure that the final mercury rule uses updated, accurate information about the costs and benefits of compliance with the original rules?
Senator, I'm not very familiar with that rule because the proposal was reviewed before I was acting administrator. I will tell you that, generally speaking, if there is more current data available, that is the data that should be used if there is reason to believe it is accurate. And I do commit to you that I would, operate under that general principle and would, look very carefully at that rule if it is under review when I am confirmed.
Right. I just remind you and those that if you're confirmed, you'll be leading this particular rule. Is not only enjoys the support of environmental groups, but the utilities, the business community, a wide range of folks who in the industry has spent money, complied with the rule, and now they're going to be asked to walk away from it. They don't want to do that. And I would just ask you to keep that in mind. I always say, like, ask your customer, will you be, just to listen, I would urge you to listen to all of them, and use accurate information about the costs and benefits of compliance. Next question, my second, and I guess it'll be my last question, but this deals with the vehicle fuel standards rollback. And OIRA is the largest source of carbon emissions on our planet. It's not coal-fired plants. It's not other utilities. It's our mobile sources. It's the cars, trucks, and vans that we drive. But OIRA is supposed to be an honest broker when resolving interagency disputes. And during the interagency review of the joint EPA and Transportation Department proposal to roll back vehicle fuel economy and greenhouse gas standards, EPA described the Transportation Department's analysis used to justify the rollback as being, and I'm going to quote it, here's their word, unusable. And it went on to say it had fundamental flaws. EPA even asked to have its logo removed from the proposal's documentation because it felt the proposal did not include any of its input, EPA's input. And one last question I have is a follow-on to that. And again, I'm just looking for a yes or no, but will you provide the committee with a complete description of your involvement in the development of this proposed rule, including copies of your calendar and other requested documents?
Senator, for that rule as well, that proposal was reviewed before I was acting administrator. I had extremely limited involvement, and I had no knowledge of the fact that you just said until this process.
Mm-hmm. Then do you commit to ensure that the final car rule uses technical assumptions and cost-benefit analysis that do not include the same problems EPA identified with the proposed rule?
Senator, I absolutely commit to ensuring that rules are based on the best science, the best data, and the best analysis, including that rule, if I'm confirmed.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Senator Peters.
Yeah, can I just have, I have a couple of seconds. Mr. Chairman, I just remind this of my colleagues. And I said this to Mr. Ray yesterday. We're an oversight committee, and we do oversight over the whole federal government. That's the responsibility of this committee. And the only way we can be effective doing our job is to make sure that folks like you, if you're confirmed, are forthcoming and not asking for privilege and not declining to provide information. Eventually, we're going to have an election. Who knows who's going to win next time, who's going to be in the majority, who's going to be in the administration. But this is one that could come back to bite folks on both sides of the aisle. And I know Mark Chairman cares a lot about oversight and wants to make sure that this committee gets the information that they need. And I said to Mr. Ray yesterday, I said, one of our concerns is when you have a nominee who's not being especially forthcoming and cites privilege like 19 times, which I think is more than anybody ever, the idea, will that nominee, if confirmed, be any more forthcoming once they are confirmed in that position? That's a matter of grave concern for me, and I think it should be for all of us.